In this lesson, we will talk about the policies, which are the instruction manual for your e-commerce. Everything related to the shipping, payment methods, exchanges and returns, and in general, everything that the user needs to know before purchasing in your store. In this lesson, we will see why it's important to structure your company policies positively and how to show them in the e-commerce so that they are easy to understand for the user. Those who run an e-commerce business often underestimate the policies. Some believe that it's enough to copy some common online policies and paste them on their own website. And there is a tendency to believe that the customers do not really read the policies and they are only useless formalities. This is a very superficial focus that can compromise your credibility and make you lose customers quickly. The policies are basically the soul of your e-commerce, as they tell your customers many aspects about the way you do business. It's the policies that will let you know, for example, if the company respects the environment, if they ship to country X, if they offer a warranty for the products, or how to resolve a problem with regard to, for example, exchanges and returns. People do not purchase online full of confidence and with their eyes closed, especially when they do not know the e-commerce business, and if it's the first time that they're purchasing something from your online store. A user that wants to make an online purchase has a lot of worries. Is it a real business? Do I take the chance or is it a scam? Can I add my credit card information without risking that someone will empty my account? How many days will it take before I receive my product? And if I don't like it, if the size isn't right, can I return it? How much does it cost me to return the product? And many, many more questions. The majority of people that purchase online from a store they don't know will first search for reviews online or ask on social media if the website is reliable. I am a member of a variety of Facebook groups and on a daily basis see dozens of publications passing by of people who ask about comments on this or that website. And what the majority of them would really like to know is, what are the policies of the web shop? If returning a product is easy to manage, if the exchange product is easy to receive, and if the company, quote unquote, is serious. To have transparent and positive policies is actually the first step in pushing the user to buy and encourage them to return. And like it's the case with companies as Zalando, Amazon and ASOS, the policies could reach the point where they represent the strength of the e-commerce. Now that we have defined what information the policies contain, the first step is to define which ones you are going to put in your website. We start with the mandatory ones by law, meaning the cookie policy, privacy policy, which are very similar and both are created to provide the customer with maximum transparency with regards to the information that your e-commerce collects and what they are using the information for. Personal data of the customers that are registered on the website when they create an account, the information related to the visited pages, the purchases made, etc. For privacy terms, there are ad hoc models available online that you can adapt to your needs. For example, we show you an interesting site, termsfeed.com, which in fact is a generator of policies that can certainly represent a good starting point. These are the most simplistic policies, quote unquote, because they refer to the regulations and laws and can therefore be structured in a more generic way. As for other policies, they can vary according to the needs of the company, the type of products they sell, or the services that they offer. A website that sells cosmetics could need a page that describes the company policy about experiments with animals, as we can see on the e-commerce of Lush Cosmetics, where they inform the customers on this page that the company do not test on animals and do not use materials that contain animal derivatives that are unsuitable for vegetarians. When respecting the environment and sustainability are important values for a company, and therefore their strength, it is good to appreciate them, like the e-commerce Herbalario does, for example. They represent these policies graphically before the footer of the page and by adding icons as well. More and more companies are putting their focus on their policy with regards to the impact on the environment and sustainability, like Apple on this page, where they provide their customers with information about the recycled materials, the low environmental impact of their products, and so on. They also provide a PDF report about this info, and as a customer I can say that's impressive. In the most common policies of e-commerce sites, we find the policies relating to payment methods, like the one we find on the site of Eastpak, which lists the payment methods accepted by the e-commerce website and explains to the user how to pay by credit card, debit card, PayPal, etc. Next, at least if you do not offer digital products that therefore do not need to be shipped, you will need to structure a policy with regards to the shipping and delivery of products, like we will find here, for example, on the e-commerce of Glamira. In this policy, you will need to explain to your customers which shipping methods are available, provide information about communication, ways of tracking the order, the time required processing and delivery of your orders, if the transport is insured, information related to the custom costs, a list of countries or areas where you do not ship to. In short, all a customer needs to know about what will happen after he orders from your store. Finally, you will have to elaborate on your own policy with respect to the right of returns and exchanges. In fact, this will be the most important policy for your e-commerce and the one in which your customers will be most interested in. When someone wants to purchase a product online without seeing or touching it, like it's the case with clothes or shoes, without trying the size, it is really important to take advantage of a return policy for the product or to request an exchange. Some time ago, I read a really interesting article that started like this. It does not matter what product you sell, your competitor is Amazon. And not because Amazon sell the same products that you sell. Your competitor is Amazon because it has elevated the level of expectations of all users, including your customers, that now expect to purchase online, also in your site, and enjoy the same quick and free delivery service. They think that they can return a product whenever they want, without explaining the motive, just because that's what they do on Amazon. A good return policy can be converted to a powerful marketing tool for your e-commerce, but I will talk about that later. Meanwhile, once you have defined what policies you want to include in the e-commerce, we will find ourselves in the next step, how to structure these policies, and in more concrete terms, how should we design them, formulate them, and show them within our website. When drawing up policies, you have to concentrate on structuring a content that is easy to read and understand, and avoid terms that are too difficult and technical, always keeping in mind who is your regular user. Do not overload the user with too much information on the page. The policies must be concise and easy to read. Avoid text blocks that are too long by dividing them up into small paragraphs. And even better, use bullet points whenever possible. The return policy page of the J. Crew shop shows a screen completely filled with words in a font size that is too small and an unformatted text. This makes consulting the text really difficult, and the user could stop reading after a couple of seconds. The e-commerce of Pull and Bear does not offer an easy-to-use solution for the users who wish to consult the company's policies either. The website collects all the company's policies on one page. Here is where we find information about the environmental impact, the animals' welfare, privacy policy, even the return policy. The graphic structure of the page, the massive textual content, and the lack of an index, or in any case a subdivision in categories, makes the consultation of the policies really difficult. A first step for this e-commerce could be to set up an index in the upper part of the page and insert a link in every corresponding section. Wherefore, with just one click, the user will move from the index to the policy he would like to consult. That way, you will not have to search for information by scrolling through the whole page to what seems to be a complicated treasure hunt. It could be an effective solution to show the policies on the page you have set up in the frequently asked questions, with complete questions and simple and concise answers, like it is with the case of the Piazza Italia shop. Piazza Italia provides to customers clear and detailed instructions about the procedures they need to follow and also the steps to follow to carry out a return in a very simple way. Also, Zalando explains in a very simple and clear way how to perform a return. In brackets, the return policy of Zalando is amongst the best, along with Amazon's, since the return is completely free of charge and the customer has 100 days available, in practice more than 3 months, to decide whether to keep the product or return it. This page explains step by step what to do, guiding the customer through the personal area. In their return policy, they provide all useful details for their customers with regards to the costs of a return, if the shipping is at their expense, if the shipping costs will be deducted from the refund, and all possible limitations to the policy, or the conditions under which the products need to be returned, in the original box, with the tag, never been washed. Just like Zalando and Amazon, try to provide your customers with a predetermined shipping label to simplify the shipping process of returns in a way that they simply print the label and paste it on the package. This is, for example, the label that Zalando offers on their page, in a way that if the user wishes to return a product, he only needs to download it, print it, and paste it on the package to deliver it to the carrier. They do not need to search for an address, write it manually on the package, nor write the sender manually, and so on and so on. If you can consider the possibility to offer returns free of charge and cover all return shipment costs, it's a powerful stimulation for those who wish to buy online and are 100% safe, as it assures them that they can always return the product without the least economic loss. In the e-commerce of Cutterbuck, the user that is performing a refund, they will take almost $9 from compensations to cover the return shipping costs. This, counted up with the $8 of shipping costs that we paid when buying the product, could represent a true obstacle for the purchase and therefore have a negative impact on the conversions of the page. The web page of Rusty Surfboard does not simplify things for the customers who wish to perform a return. They request you call customer service. They will provide you with an authorization number and the necessary information to know how to perform the return. There is no other way to obtain the information before the purchase that indicates to the customer the function of the refund policy or the expenses that come with it. On the other hand, the page lists various policy restrictions, which refers me to the next point. That is to say, simplify your policies. When defining the policies for your e-commerce, try not to create too many conditions. Rusty Surfboard, like we said, only accept returns if the product arrives defective. For any other reason, there is no way to return the product and receive a refund. And including if a product does not arrive defective, we find another list of restrictions that include circumstances beyond one's control or external causes to the product. If I was a customer on this website, I would have some doubts like, what does the circumstances beyond one's control mean? If the carrier is damaging the product during transport, maybe due to bad weather or a traffic accident, am I not able to return the product because the damage was due to circumstances beyond one's control? In the return policy of the Runway website, there are restrictions established that could be unpleasant for the customer who wants to make a purchase from that website, where we find a list of products that they cannot return or exchange, like lingerie, pyjamas, and clothes to sleep in, bathing suits, jewellery, beauty and health articles, and accessories. If we start from the assumption that the policy obviously requires that the products that you want to return must be new and unused, I personally do not see the reason for not accepting the return of pyjamas or a bracelet if they are still with labels and not used by the customer. In fact, if I'd like to purchase some pyjamas from this website, the policy makes me lose the desire to do so, because if the size is incorrect or I do not like the type of fabric and I want to request a refund, I can't do so. Therefore, it'd be better to purchase somewhere else. Another story is the policy of IKEA. IKEA tells me that if I'm not satisfied with one of their products, I've got 365 days, 1 year, available to return the product, even if it's already assembled. And then I can receive a complete refund. I can return the products myself in one of IKEA's shops or request a pickup at home in case the products are bulky. I'm Italian, and in Italy, unfortunately, there is a but. The policy of IKEA in Italy, which until recently provided a refund with the same payment method used at the time of the order, now offers a reimbursement in the form of a return card, a voucher, which can be spent at any IKEA store for 2 years. This is really frustrating, and a lot of e-commerce companies do it. If the customer requests a refund and does not receive a reimbursement for what he had spent, because the policy of the shop is to give a voucher that the customer can only use in that shop, in practice makes the customer obliged to make another purchase because he's not able to receive a real reimbursement. This means that if I spend €800 on a sofa and maybe I make a mistake when measuring, I afterwards need to return it and I do not have the option to obtain my money. I find myself with a voucher for €800 and the obligation to spend that money within a certain amount of time set by that store. Decathlon as well has a positive refund policy for the customer because they offer the possibility to return a product up to 1 year after the purchase. And they also allow to return a product bought online in a physical store, which many e-commerce companies do not allow. Nevertheless, the user will not be able to obtain a refund because they provide a credit card that can be spent at any Decathlon store. This is a choice of the company that could compromise the relationship between the customer at medium and long term and disencourage future purchases. One last piece of advice for this lesson: provide a printable version of your policies. Although we live in a digital era with the eyes always glued on the screen, a lot of customers still prefer to read the information from a paper, or they feel more comfortable if they can print out a PDF with assembling instructions or with the content of the return policies. Some months ago, I bought a gift online for a friend, and I had the need to print the return and exchange policy to give it together with the gift and the invoice, in case he wanted to exchange it for another site or he preferred another product. So make sure that the most important policies are printable. The policies like exchange and refund policy, and if your products need assembling instructions or user instructions, make sure that you also make them easy to locate and print. Before concluding this lesson, I want to share with you an interesting anecdote. Before, I mentioned that an excellent refund policy can convert into a powerful marketing tool for your e-commerce. I will explain why by telling you about a case that caused a commotion some years ago between the owners of pets and also pet owners that were engaged in online marketing. Chewy.com is an e-commerce for pet products that offers their customers 365 days to return a product. But this is not what made them so popular. It all started with a comment on Facebook that states, "My sister and brother-in-law tragically lost both of their dogs this past weekend. After this happened, They received two £40 bags of dog food that they had ordered from Chewy.com. My brother-in-law sent them an email requesting permission to send the dog food back for refund, minus the shipping costs. They responded with unbelievable kindness. They credited their credit card for the full purchase price and asked them to donate the dog food to a local shelter. They sent a second email requesting a picture of one of the dogs to put in their memorial book to honour her. And then today, my sister and brother-in-law received these beautiful flowers from Chewy.com. I wish I could tell everyone this story. This is the kind of story that needs to go viral. This is an incredible company. This is how an effective synergy works between an intelligent customer service and a positive refund policy for the customer. In fact, this story turned viral in a lot of animal owners groups on Facebook, what brought the company excellent publicity. After that, some blog articles came up, written to congratulate the company, like this one, where they talk about the case and inviting big companies to take an example. This article finally ends with, "Attention, during the next 12 minutes I will be busy buying food for my dogs at Chewy.com. Later, some marketing experts started to share analysis relating to a story like this one, where they explained that a company is not able to buy advertising this powerful and positive, and however they do it, it is priceless. A promotional post made on Facebook will definitely cost the company more than a package of 20-kilo dog food, and will not obtain the same effect as the post that was written from the heart of a customer who shared a real experience. Customers want humane companies that are concerned about their needs and that worry about their problems. Offer a positive customer service and generous policies to your users, and this can mark the difference for your e-commerce." That was all. I hope you will now have a clearer idea about the policies you need to include in your e-commerce and how to use them in order to obtain a good reputation online. I'll see you in the next lesson.